Alright, homebrewers, it is brew day, and check it out. This is my new brewing, or I should say boil kettle, ball valve on there. This is the Penrose Kettle from Brew Behemoth. It's 15.5 gallons, stainless steel. As you can see in there, it's starting to boil. Pretty heavy duty stuff, not the thickest wall, but the bottom's really thick. It's a layer of, I believe, copper that's mixed in between the stainless. So it's I had some minor complaints, like the welds weren't fully cleaned. But other than that, and there's some sharp metal, bits on the edges that I had to file out. So that's my minor complaint so far. So right now, what I'm doing is just doing a test, kind of, let the pot get up to a boil for the first time, just kind of get it sort of seasoned, so to speak, and then check to make sure there's no leaks coming out of that ball valve. Don't want leaking wort during the boil. So that's what I'm doing right now. So I'm just going to get it just nice and tested, and I'll just use this water to clean another kettle. So that's early this morning on brew day, and later we're going to brew up a pale ale. That is cloudy, cloudy, cloudy. Hopefully the manifold stayed together, because there's a lot of chunks, bits in there, so hopefully it'll clear out on us. If not, we get to dig in there and have fun getting the manifold back together, because I always worry about that. I really need a new manifold at this point. So, batch sparging this time. But first we're going to boil off this thing. Smells, what do you think it smells like? I think it's like, to me it's pretty bready. You get kind of like a fresh bread aroma.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Some oatmeal too.
Oh yeah, there's some wheat in there and some rye, so I think that kind of smells pretty good that way.
It's coming out really clear, but I think it's just relative to what I'm used to. We're used to seeing black,
Yeah.
Because we've been doing some dark beers lately.
We've been doing a lot of dark beers. Yeah, that's my first pale ale I've done since we did the New Zealand hop Kiwi IPA, all New Zealand hop beer, which everyone really liked that beer. So I have a question for you guys out there. When you're vorloffing, do you go slow like this? Do you let it go like full all on out when you're doing a batch sparge? I mean, what are you guys doing as far as that? Because I don't think I've read anything saying like rates of which you should vorloff, or should you go quicker? How does it work for you to set the grain bed up so you're ready to actually pull off your wort? Okay, sparge time. You can see in there the level's almost to my top of the grain bed. Got a towel covering that since I don't have a lid. This is the first time I actually used my mash pH stabilizer for my sparge water, which was recommended that I do that. I was listening to some podcasts from the Brewing Network, and they talked about pH levels going up with sparging, and that will leach out more tannins in the beer, so that stabilizer will help keep the tannin level.
Alright, recording.
Alright guys, so first time boiling in my new kettle, and don't have to worry about boil overs anymore, which is awesome. I mean, we filled it up to 7 gallons and I got another 7.5. We need to turn this down. This thing's super aggressive. I mean, this is it got up to a boil pretty quick, and it's getting rid of the hot break on there. I wish I would have bought this a long time ago, because no more like rushing as it's coming up to the very top and running over to try to get it off the heat. And it's super aggressive. The bottom of that pot has a sandwich of, I think I mentioned earlier, a sandwich of copper, and it heats it up a lot quicker than my old pot, which was aluminum. And aluminum's pretty good conductor of heat too, but this thing's even better. So I'm pretty happy. The only complaint are these handles are really close to the side of the pot, and so it's hard getting a larger hand in their fingers in to move it, especially if you're wearing gloves. So I guess that's my major complaint, which isn't too major with this kettle so far. So. Alright, time to add some hops in. So, going to be a 70-minute boil on this one. Just put in 1.5 ounces of Citra hops for bittering. I'm going to add that extra ½ ounce, which I didn't really have accounted for. I'm decided I'm going to add that into the boil at some point. Probably going to go with either 40 or 50 minutes left. Kind of one of those brew day, just kind of feeling it type of deals where I'm just going to, you know, improvise here. So good boil going on that. Got rid of a lot of hot break. I mean, I don't see a lot of white on there, which is awesome. So I'm loving this kettle so far. Larger size, just it's so much better than my old aluminum pot, which was probably only 8-ish gallons, somewhere around there. So this is much better, especially for a 5-gallon batch. Okay, some of the brew day beers. Since it's so warm, I decided to open up a bottle of Three Fontaines Oud Goose. It's been a while since I've had this. In fact, I think the last time I had it was when I reviewed it with Peter. So this bottle is just a touch over a year old. It was bottled on December. You can see right there, December 1st. That's right, December 1st, 2010. This is really good stuff. I'm enjoying it out of my new Duvel giant tulip. This is my first Duvel glass. I absolutely love it. Recommend everyone that likes good beer to get one of these and drink your beer out of it. It is fantastic. Alright, so here's the recipe. I didn't even mention that. I'm calling it Citra Survival. Interesting malt bill, not exactly typical. San Diego super yeast. So far this is all Citra, but I will add Motueka, whatever you want to call it, and some Cascade in the dry hop. But I mean, it's pretty cloudy right now. Gravity wise, I hit 1062, which was actually quite higher than what Hotville's beer calculus said. But I think I might have finally dialed in my efficiency. I don't know, maybe because it's a low ABV beer, but you know, it's pretty cloudy with all the hops. I added a ton of hops at the end, as you can see. I mean, 4 ounces in at the end of leaf hops really clouded it up. So, and we're gonna dry hop it. So, let's try a taste of this unfermented wort here. I mean, it's sweet but really bitter. Finishes really bitter, so pretty much what I want. Yeah, I mean, it has sweet and sour thing going on right now, so once it ferments, I think it's going to be a really nice pale ale. Yes, and yes, I'm calling that a pale ale with that many hops because it's only going to be like 6%, so this is not an IPA.